Before today's video, we want to take a minute to talk about our amazing sponsor, The Ridge. Father's Day is coming up, so why not get your dad or the father of your children something that looks cool, is practical, and he can use for the rest of his life? Ridge wallets have dozens of fantastic designs in 3 different materials that are incredibly durable. In fact, they are so durable that The Ridge offers a lifetime warranty on their wallets. Ridge wallets are sleek and compact, but they can still hold 12 cards plus your money. Because of their design, you only carry the things you need. Just don't take my word for it that Ridge wallets are great. They have over 30,000 5-star reviews. Right now, the Ridge is offering criminally listed viewers 10% off with free worldwide shipping and returns. Just go to ridge.com/listed, that's ridge.com/listed, and use the promo code listed at the checkout. Step up your dad's wallet game today and help support Criminally Listed by checking out ridge.com/listed. Number 3. Sheridan Dahlquist. In August 2007, 19-year-old Sheridan Dahlquist was starting his sophomore year at Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. One of Dahlquist's biggest passions was soccer. He was a member of his university's soccer team. He lived in a house not far from the campus with 4 of his friends and teammates. On the night of Saturday, August 11th, 2007, Dahlquist and his friends were drinking. Early on Sunday morning, Dahlquist went to bed. The 4 young men he was drinking with decided to play a prank on him. They were 21-year-old Nicholas Mencken, 22-year-old Ryan Johnson, 19-year-old David Crady, and 20-year-old David Cox. Mencken, Johnson, and Crady all attended Bradley University, and they were Dahlquist's roommates and his soccer teammates. Cox attended another college in Peoria, but he was a frequent guest at the house. As Dahlquist slept, the 4 young men got a Roman candle, lit it, and stuck it under the crack of his bedroom door. But the Roman candle failed to go off. A short time later, they went back to his bedroom door. This time, they had 2 Roman candles. They lit both Roman candles and stuck them in the crack under his door. This time, the Roman candles went off. The 4 young men ran outside so they could watch the fireworks light up Dahlquist's room. They were expecting to see him run out in his underwear looking stunned. But when they got outside, they saw an ominous glow in Dahlquist's window, and they knew something had gone horribly wrong. They all ran to Dahlquist's room, but they couldn't get inside because of the intense heat. 911 was called, but it was too late to help 19-year-old Sheridan Dahlquist. The 2 Roman candles had launched 16 fireballs that reached temperatures of 1500 degrees. One of the fireballs started a fire on the wall on the opposite side of the door. Dahlquist's body was found under some debris near the window. This indicated he had woken up and he tried to escape. The debris came from the ceiling collapsing. Dahlquist's cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning and smoke inhalation. The district attorney considered charging Nicholas Mencken, Ryan Johnson, David Crady, and Daniel Cox with murder. But since they had tried to rescue Dahlquist, they were charged with aggravated arson and possession of an explosive or incendiary device. Those charges were still very serious. For aggravated assault, they could have been sentenced to 6 to 30 years of prison without the chance of parole. For possession of an explosive or incendiary device, they could have been sentenced up to 30 years. In January 2008, about 5 months after Sheridan Dahlquist's death, the 4 young men pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter. They were all sentenced to 6 months in jail. Dahlquist's parents sued the four young men and the owners of the house, who were Nicholas Mencken's parents. They settled out of court for a combined $700,000 from everyone they sued. Number 2. Stephen Keim. Holmes County, Ohio is the second largest Amish community in the world. An annual tradition in Holmes County is that, on Labor Day, young people would hide in a cornfield and throw ripe tomatoes and shoot paintballs at passing cars. In 2003, 23-year-old Stephen Keim was one of 10 people who were hiding in a cornfield north of Mount Hope, Ohio. The people hiding in the cornfield ranged in age from 15 to 23. Stephen Keim's family was Amish when he was born, but they later became Mennonites. The Mennonites and the Amish share many of the same Christian beliefs, but the Mennonites can use some modern conveniences. For example, they can drive motorized vehicles, they can use electricity, and they can have phones in their home. As the group was hiding in the cornfield, a Cadillac came down the road. The car was hit multiple times with tomatoes. About 25 minutes later, the Cadillac came back down the road and no one threw a tomato or shot a paintball at it. The driver of the Cadillac turned around and drove back to the cornfield. This time, the driver got out of the car. He started screaming at the people in the cornfield and he dared them to throw another tomato at him. No one in the cornfield moved or said anything. The man reached into his car and he pulled out a shotgun. He fired 3 quick successive shots into the cornfield. He then got into his car and drove away. After he left, the people in the field realized that 23-year-old Stephen Keim had been shot. He had been hit with over 100 shotgun pellets. He died on the way to the hospital. Based on the witnesses' accounts, the police determined that the shooter was 58-year-old Marion Weaver. Weaver's parents had been Mennonites, but he wasn't religious himself. Weaver made his living by delivering ice to the Amish. When the police found Weaver, he was in the hospital because he had suffered a near-fatal heart attack. The police got a search warrant for his home, and they found a 12-gauge shotgun. The police interviewed Weaver, and he confessed. He said he was driving on the road, and his Cadillac was hit by several tomatoes. He said that this made him angry, so he drove home, and he got a shotgun. He returned to the cornfield, but he didn't see or hear anyone, so he thought they were gone. He pulled out his shotgun, and he claimed he fired over the cornfield and not into it. He said he had not meant to kill anyone. He said he was devastated when he learned that Stephen Keim was the person who had died. It turned out that Weaver was a friend of the Keim family. They had been friends for over 30 years. Weaver had gone on hunting and fishing trips with Stephen Keim and his father on several occasions. Weaver said he had found out that Keim had died the day after the shooting. When he found out, he suffered a heart attack. Weaver was ultimately charged with involuntary manslaughter. Weaver went to trial in March 2004, about 6 months after the shooting. If he were to be convicted of involuntary manslaughter, he was looking at a sentence of anywhere from 9 months to 5 years of prison. He was ultimately convicted of the lesser charge of negligent homicide. He was sentenced to 6 months in jail. Weaver had been in jail since his arrest 6 months earlier in September, so he was released shortly after his trial on time served. Number 1. Renee Duran. In the summer of 1988, Renee Duran, who lived in San Antonio, Texas, was 11 years old. Renee had asthma, and because of that, he couldn't always play with other children. In that summer of 1988, Renee started riding a bike to try and fit in with the kids in his neighborhood. On the evening of August 14th, 1988, Renee and his friend were riding their bikes. They came up to a grocery store called Bud's Food Liner. The store had been in operation for decades. The store was started by the current owner's father. The owner was planning on passing the ownership of the store down to his son. Outside the store, there was a phone booth. When Renee rode between the phone booth and the telephone pole, he suddenly wiped out, and he didn't get back up. As he laid on the ground, he started bleeding from the neck area. It turned out that someone had strung a length of telephone wire from the phone booth to the telephone pole. Renee had slammed his throat into the wire, and he was nearly decapitated. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. The police started investigating who set up the wire. An employee said that the phone booth had been vandalized earlier that day, but the vandals didn't tie the phone cord around the telephone pole. The police found out that 21-year-old Larry Bluthman was the one who set up the wire. Bluthman was the store owner's son. At the time, Bluthman was learning computers to help with the store that he planned on taking over. Bluthman told a friend that he was going to set up the wire because he was going to play a game on someone. The wire was about waist high on the average adult, so it wasn't low enough to trip a grown-up of average height. It seemed like the wire was only meant to hit people in the middle of their bodies and stop them from walking. Unfortunately, the height of the wire had devastating results for an 11-year-old on his bike. On the morning of August 16, 1988, 2 days after Renee's death, Bluthman was brought into the police station for questioning. He chose to remain silent. The police did not feel that they had enough evidence to charge Bluthman with anything, so he left the police station at about 10 a.m. A few hours later, a warrant for his arrest was issued. Larry Bluthman was being charged with murder, but the police could not find him. Just before midnight that night, 2 of his friends went to his grandmother's mobile home. The mobile home was in Comfort, Texas, which is just over 45 miles from downtown San Antonio. Bluthman's grandmother had been put in a nursing home, and the mobile home had not been used since. In one of the bedrooms, they found the dead body of 21-year-old Larry Bluthman. He had shot himself in the head with a .22 caliber rifle. He did not leave a suicide note. It's believed that he shot himself at about 6 p.m., which is about the same time that Renee was killed 2 days earlier. After Bluthman's death, the police consider the case closed. Thank you so much for watching today's video. We hope you found it interesting. If you're looking for some new videos to watch, why not check out my new channel, Chapter Dark, and see if you can solve the mysteries in the videos. If you like riddles, puzzles, or escape rooms, Chapter Dark will be right up your alley. A link to Chapter Dark should appear on the screen momentarily, and you can also find a link in the description box below this video. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, we'd really appreciate it if you gave us a thumbs up. Please also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Roku. The links are in the description box. But that's all for today. Thanks again for watching, and please stay safe.